Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
The information contained within this podcast does not consider your personal circumstances and is of a general nature only. You should not act on it without first obtaining professional financial advice specific to your circumstances.
Paul Atherton is an ex-Wall Street advisor on a mission to help young people win back their financial power, wealth, and security. He does this by helping them understand the hidden world of finance, risk, and investments, helps them figure out how it impacts them, and to seize the opportunities to make it work to their advantage. This is Paul Street Journal. Welcome back. I'm here with Paul Atherton. How are you this morning?
I'm great, Tim. Thanks for having me.
That's good. Now, we've had a few discussions recently about investment, and I'm just really starting to look into it, thinking about putting roughly 10% of my wage away into it. Not too much, but enough to make a difference, obviously over a long period of time, as you've astutely taught me. Can you give me some tips?
Oh, yeah. So I'll take you over some of the top tips that I give my clients and actually anybody who asks me over a barbecue, and we'll see if we get to the end. The top 5 tips for you. So the first tip is, I ask people is, do you know where your money is? Did you remember there was, certainly in the States, there was it's 9 o'clock at night, and do you know where your children are? I say the same. It's 9 o'clock at night, and do you know where your money is? And the answer tends to be, I have no idea. And think about that. Just let that sink in for a bit. People's superannuation, we use that as an example, their largest amount of money that they have, or second largest, and they have no idea where it is. I went over a portfolio recently of a client and a friend of mine. I went into detail of where it was invested. This is before I took it on. And it turned out he was a massive investor in condoms. So I asked him, I said, was there a reason for this? And he had no idea. But the point being, there is very little or no transparency. And there should be. You should know exactly where your money is. So that's point 1. Know where your money is. And that leads quite nicely onto point 2, is have a strategy. So my friend, the condom investor, didn't really think that was potentially the best investment for him. Well, potentially not, but let's think about it. Why? Maybe it is. Maybe there is a way to think about it. But you have to have a strategy. You can't go into anything without a strategy. And you wouldn't even go into the weekend without a strategy. People have more ideas of this evening, this weekend I'll go meet my friends, we'll go out to dinner, we'll go out to other. You've got a strategy for the weekend. I'm going to buy a new TV. You have a strategy for buying the new TV. But no strategy for the single largest pool of money in your life. The thing that will make all the difference in the way you live and retire. No strategy. So I say build a strategy. And again, I think either work and become an insider and learn it, or work with somebody to build that strategy. Number 3 is simplicity. So back in my Wall Street days, a good test that we used to have when we used to talk to a trader, and as soon as he was telling me the reason he had this position, and he would show me graphs and lots of equations, and it would just be folders of information, that I really kind of knew I was on a BS vendor. He was talking rubbish, right? The more complex, you see, if you have a good strategy, it's simple. Yeah. Right? It is simple. You've got to know. The strategy is always simple to explain. And my rule of thumb there is it's the elevator pitch. If you go down an elevator, you should be able to tell somebody what your strategy is by the end of the elevator. Now, it may take 10 floors, but it should be the elevator pitch. Now, think about me, right? 25 years almost on Wall Street. I could tell you my strategy on 1 floor, maybe 2, depending how fast the lift is.
Wow.
That's how quickly the strategy is. It's that simple, and it should be simple. And it makes your life easier and it's much more fun. Tip number 4, I think we covered in last week in the investment, which is start young. Starting young helps you use the magic of compounding. That is 1-2% compounded over many years. It just has extraordinary positive impacts and very, very large impacts on your portfolio. Automate it, make sure it goes straight into an account. Small accumulations over a long period of time with really good compounding. Fantastic. And the way to get the long period of time is to start as younger as possible. And I guess the audience here is largely young, so you guys are in good shape. So get it done now. I guess I also made that point last week, which was don't wait till you've got a lot of money to do it. And that's equivalent to saying, I'm going to wait till I'm fit to go to the gym. No, you should do it now. Start now. The smallest amount of money done regularly, automated, have a big impact. Number 5. Now, this is an interesting one. I put it in here. Sometimes I put this as number 1, and that is stay out of debt. You've got to treat debt as absolutely terrible. This is going to be the thing you really least want to have in your life. And if you have it, you've got to treat it like a hot potato. And you've got to know everything you know about it. Everything. You see advertisement on television. There's a reason where, getting on debt seems like the happiest, most wonderful thing possible. Take this loan, for the personal loans, for car loans. You think the way it's advertised, you think it was the most exciting thing that happened. Now, there's a reason, because banks make a lot of money out of this, but it's not for you.
It's their most exciting adventure.
It's very exciting for them. No one wants to be in debt. In fact, there was a study done saying the least happy people on the earth, least happy, are those that are in debt, and the most happy are those that are out of debt. In fact, so the highest leverage point for your happiness in the long term turns out to be debt. So treat it with a lot of respect. That would be my 5th tip, Tim.
That's very comprehensive, and I think just from my own experience, I can definitely agree with. Quite a few of those. Obviously, I haven't quite experienced the magic of compounding, but
it can work for you, and it should be on your side. Debt is where it works for the bank and not for you, against you. So, like I said, to know where your money is, which seems very straightforward, but I can guarantee you, listeners, very, very few people know where their money is. And if you don't know where your money is, you can't have a strategy. But if you do, you can, and a strategy is fundamental. Keep it simple. As soon as somebody's coming up with complex formulas for you, I'm going to invest here and there, and we're going to do this, and that's the biggest sign you're talking to a BS vendor. Stay away from them. Start young, right? Get onto it, even if it's the smallest amount of money. Really, get out your Excel. Put a couple of percent. Put 7% in. Put a small amount, see what happens over 10, 20 years. It's amazing. And then stay out of debt. Manage it. Sometimes you can't help it. The debt you need, perhaps you have some school debt, or you get debt for a house. Sometimes you can't help it, but avoid it. And where you do have it, understand it.
Thank you for joining us. It's been very informative. Paul Street Journal.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.